About 25 years ago, when we were first married and had our first house and working on it, we were members of a little church. Things were really clearing up from a life I had been living, and things were really starting to go well. My mom and my dad were getting ready to visit us at this little church, and I wanted to sing a particular song about the prodigal son and his revelation of the father's love toward him. And I'd heard this song before, and it just really touched my heart. It still does. I started looking for this cassette. Everything I got about it was out of print. I couldn't find it. I called different stores that I knew sold these kinds of cassettes, and they said, no, we don't have that. We can't get it. We recommend you get a little band together. We haven't seen musical talent like we've seen, here recently in recent years. There was nothing like that back then. So I was just like, well, maybe I ought to just pick another song. I was working, we had a little log cabin on a half-mile drive away, and I was working up on the roof, and clear as a bell, the Lord said, that tape is at the store. I got right down off the roof, and I said, Susie. My wife's name's Susie. I heard clear as a bell that tape is in at this Gospel Land store. And she said, well, don't argue about it or anything, go get it. And so I went to the front counter, and I mentioned the name of the tape, and they said, no, we don't have that. I'm like, well, you mind if I look? And I go back, and I'm looking at them, and it's not there. And I'm getting ready to leave, and there was a shelf, an almost empty shelf right next to that, face out. On that shelf was that tape, and it wasn't a copy from a cover from another group. It was the actual band that made that song. I grabbed it. I went up to the front. You guys said you couldn't get this for me when I called. You said you didn't have it. Here it is. This is the one I've been looking for. The guy at the counter, he just shrugged and charged me for it, and I sang that song for my dad. So I'm going to attempt this song without the music. It's When God Ran. Almighty God, the great I am, immovable rock, omnipotent, powerful, awesome Lord, victorious warrior, commanding King of kings, mighty conqueror. But the only time I ever saw him run was when he ran to me. He took me in his arms, held my head to his chest, said, my son's come home again, lifted my face, wiped the tears from my eyes, with forgiveness in his voice. He said, son, do you know I still love you? He caught me by surprise when God ran. The day I left home, I knew I'd broken his heart, and I wondered then if things could ever be the same. Then one night, I remembered his love for me, and down that dusty road ahead I could see it was the only time I ever saw him run. Then he ran to me, he took me in his arms, held my head to his chest, said, my son's come home again, lifted my face, wiped the tears from my eyes, and with forgiveness in his voice, he said, son, do you know I still love you? It caught me by surprise, and it brought me to my knees when God ran.